Welcome back to Tiny T Gaming. In this video I'm going to be talking about two elite Astra Militarum units and which one has an overall bigger effect on the Imperium and why I think so. These units are the Death Korps of Krieg and the Cadian Shock Troops. Before I do though, please like and subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, as it's great hearing all of your opinions on these topics. So firstly, the Death Korps of Krieg come from the world of Krieg, a world that attempted to secede from the Imperium and fought a civil war because of this. The Loyalists won, though it cost them centuries and they changed over the course of this time. They had to utilise atomic warheads to deny the planet to the secessionists, and because of this and the long centuries of fighting, the Loyalists changed to become a dark and macabre formation, seeing death in the Emperor's name the only fitting end for themselves, as this was the only way they could make up for their kinsmen's treachery, the failure of their people in not remaining wholly loyal. Becoming experts in attrition-based trench warfare, they are known for brutal bayonet charges, mass casualties, and unrelenting perseverance. If Imperial officers know a world or sector will cost them countless lives in brutal, atrocious trench warfare, they will often send the Death Korps in. The Siege of Vrax highlighted the brutal efficacy of the soldiers of Krieg, where they lost such huge numbers but overall gained their objectives. Just as Krieg is a world dedicated to produce soldiers, so too is Cadia, utilising all of its citizens in producing the one product of the planet, which is elite shock troops. All physically able men and women would train in soldiering from a young age, beginning to learn the necessary skills to survive in battle against the Emperor's foes. Not all, though, will be selected for service off-world, but all present on the planet would see action in the fall of Cadia. Surviving regiments do still exist, though many have been disbanded and amalgamated over time to keep surviving and successful units up to strength, or as much as possible. They have also begun recruiting, training and accepting white shields into their ranks, which come from the sons and daughters of their troopers across the galaxy, rebuilding their strength slowly and replacing much needed battlefield casualties. The Cadian Shock Trooper is a formidable opponent, trained to exacting standards and having to be blooded as a white shield to earn their place in the ranks as a regular soldier. The comparison of both is difficult, as they do perform in different theatres of war. This is not to say that the Cadians can't or don't serve in atrocious trench warfare, or that the Death Korps can't serve as more elite style troops. Indeed, both homeworlds are or were dedicated to the sole production of good quality soldiers, with the entire world's resources utilised in this production. Where they differ though is that, in my opinion, Krieg removes the humanity of its troops, making them faceless soldiers behind their respirators. Whereas the disciplines of the Cadians is no less, but they are more individualistic. They are utilised in more elite strikes usually, but they are still used massively in atrocious warfare, leaning towards more higher value targets and operations though. As is the way with Imperial forces and officers, the Imperial modus operandi of war is to just throw warm bodies at the objectives till they win. I believe that as soldiers and regiments, the Cadians are more effective as a complete unit because of this. Their soldiers are smart, skilled and led by experienced officers who promote from the ground up usually. They have the usual Imperial dogma drummed into them, and because of this, most will die in combat. But death in combat is not simply the end goal, achieving their objective is. This isn't to say that with the Kriegs, they don't just seek death in combat. They are known for winning wars, but they do it in a callous way almost, where they will just throw bodies at the problem until it's solved. And because of this, they will always have such a high turnover of their strength. And in the books we've had in the past, the actual novels, the officers change over very quickly and they take up a number or a name from that fallen officer as they promote, I believe. So it then have they then have a more faceless organisation, and they have this very much attitude that the Death Korps, that they must die in combat. It is a disgrace to then survive through to the end of their career. In one book, there was a trooper who took up command of his squad simply because he'd served 5 years, and 5 years was deemed as a long time in service. Well, 5 years isn't a lot of time, whereas the Cadians have a lot of veterans of 10, 20 years, and they promote them through, and then they utilise them better instead of just saying, well, you're going to be squad leader until you die. And for that reason alone, I do think the Cadians are more effective. Yes, Cadia did fall, but as the saying goes, the world broke before the Cadians did, and it really shows in the novels you get, because although they do fulfill completely different roles in the Imperial War effort, they are known for simply having more success and then going out. And now that they are recruiting and they're taking on replacements for the battlefield casualties, and there's new Cadia, you'll see, we should see a much bigger return of the Cadians over time if they are allowed to rebuild their numbers properly. But obviously with the ongoing setting in the Great Rift, their casualties are horrific, as with all of Imperial Guard regiments, so it's just constant casualties and casualties and casualties, and they're losing their veterans, and then the replacements aren't getting much experience. But I think that is just a recurring theme with the Imperial Guard, or the Astra Militarum as everyone calls them now. So it's like we have this setting where, yes, in my opinion, the Cadians are more effective. The Death Korps absolutely have their place, because if there's one thing the Imperium has, it's just warm bodies to throw at the fight. So that's just been my opinion. Let me know what you think. Who's better, or is there a regiment that tops both? And please like and subscribe. Your support means a lot. I'll see you in the next one.